Good evening and welcome back to another video. It is time to predict the final Oscar predictions for this season. Really excited to see what they're going to end up doing in Oscar morning, throw some surprises, or maybe they'll just be what we expect. Starting with Best Picture, one battle after another is the clear frontrunner. It's got the Critics' Choice, that's the Golden Globe. It's just going to go all the way. And then you have Sinners at number 2. Those two films are fighting for Best Picture, but really one battle is going to win everything. But the really good battle is which one of these two films are going to get more nominations. Because right now I'm predicting both of them to get 15 nominations, which I don't think is realistically going to happen. But I can easily see one of these films breaking the record. Or maybe they both just get 14 nominations, who knows. But those two are at number 1 and 2. Hamnet won the Golden Globe, has been doing very well this season. That's at number 3, it's going to get nominated. Mari Supreme, since this movie came out in theaters, a lot more people have seen it. It's gotten momentum and has been doing very well. It's kind of a feel-good movie. That's gonna get nominated. And then Frankenstein just has been overperforming everywhere where it's been shown. I mean, this film got into SAG Ensemble where not a lot of people were predicting it. And then your boy, the Oscar nerd here, predicted it for SAG Ensemble. So that is really strong. And Jacob Elordi looks like he may win supporting actor potentially, and it's at least winning 3 Oscars. So that's the number 5. In fact, if there were only 5 nominees for Best Picture, I think this would be your 5 right here. Number 6, I have Sentimental Value. Has been doing pretty well outside of Guilds, which you know, Sentimental Value got completely subbed at SAG, which was ridiculous. But it has been doing very well everywhere else. Joachim Trier is vying for Best Director. We'll get into that category because it actually is a crazy category. So I think that's going to get in. Begonia, you know, people were not feeling confident about Begonia, but ever since Plemons got into SAG and it got into the PGA, this film, everyone has it in. I think Begonia's a lock, okay? But that is going to get nominated, and you should have that in your predictions. The Secret Agent, I have a number 8. It just has been like overperforming, and it's just been a lot stronger than I ever thought it was going to be. I mean, this is stronger than I'm Still Here, which surprisingly got into Best Picture, and it got the 2 Golden Globe wins, and is looking like a frontrunner for international feature. So if I would be very confused if this somehow missed. I just really think The Secret Agent is on fire right now, and I know it didn't do that well with the BAFTA long list, but I don't really care. This is gonna get nominated for the for Best Picture, and outside of Wagner Moore and International Feature, I think it can get more than that, which we'll get into in this video. At number 9, I have It Was Just an Accident. Now, why is this number 9 when it's looking like it's been strong all year? It's because it's outside of the Golden Globes and some critic circles. It's been underperforming, and even at the Golden Globes, it didn't get any wins. Like, Panayi did not make a speech, which he was kind of supposed to win International Feature or Original Screenplay at the Golden Globes, and he didn't do it. So I'm a little bit concerned about this movie, but I still think it's strong enough to get in. It just hasn't done well with Guilds, and the BAFTA long list didn't really mention it that much, but it's still a good bet to predict this. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a Palme winner. And number 10, I think it could be between a couple of films, but I think the one that's the most likely is Train Dreams. Train Dreams got the PGA nomination. It also has the Critics' Choice nomination, and it won cinematography at the Critics' Choice. It's been doing pretty well this season. I think this is actually what I have in the top 10, is the top 10 of the community. And even then, I don't think that will and may not necessarily happen. Train Dreams is kind of on the cusp, but I feel like it's the strongest one out of what we have. Because at number 11, I have Wicked for Good. And Wicked for Good, although it has been doing well in below the line nominations, and Grande showing up everywhere, it just has not been getting these picture nominations. Like, it missed the Comedy Golden Globe when it was like supposed to get that. There was room for it. Like, how does Nouveau Eval get in over Wicked for Good? It also missed the PGA when it was like supposed to get that. The only thing it has really is Critics' Choice. And I do think that it could still get in, but it's looking like it may not be Black Panther Forever. Or maybe it's like Mary Poppins Returns, where it just gets text nominations, and although Grande shows up everywhere, she ends up getting snubbed at the end of the day. I don't know. So Wicked for Good, still a little confusing as to what happened, but you know, it has been doing pretty well. with below the line nominations. It just has not been doing good with these picture nominations. Weapons I have at number 12. It got the PGA. That's really the biggest reason why I have it at number 12. And Amy Madigan could still win the Oscar. She won the Critics' Choice, but she lost to Golden Globe to Tiana Taylor. So, it's still kind of on the cusp. I would like to see Weapons get in the Best Picture. Same with Wicked for Good. I would like to see those two get in. I just kind of gearing a little more towards Train Dreams. But Train Dreams could still miss because it is kind of a smaller film. And it kind of does feel a little bit like A Real Pain, where it gets in the PGA, but it doesn't get the Oscar nomination. Number 13, F1. F1 looks like it can get a couple of below the line categories. And it got the PGA. But I don't expect it to get nominated at the end of the day. I would really be shocked if F1 snuck into this category. I really would. Avatar, Fire and Ash, it just doesn't look like it's happening. I mean, it just hasn't been getting the picture nominations. And it's just showing that it's not as strong as Way of Water. Plus, there's just more competition here. No Other Choice was a possibility, but that film's been sinking recently. And I just think that this film is just not going to get in. It doesn't even look like it's going to adapt its screenplay. Who knows? It could even miss an international feature. But Blue Moon got the Golden Globe, but I don't expect it to get nominated. Desmond Manley's done. What else is done is Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly, I don't even have him on my list anymore. I think that movie is going to get completely goose-egged. And you know what? It's because it's a very pretentious film. I'm just putting it out there. We could see some surprises in this category. We really could. But as of right now in the top 10, this is what I'm most confident in. Best Director, this is arguably one of the hardest, if not the hardest category to predict this year, outside of the short films. Paul Thomas Anderson, he's winning the category. He's got the Golden Globe. He has the Critics' Choice. He's going to sweep Director this year. But then you get to the other nominations, and you got like 7 directors that are trying to vie for these fast 4 spots, and like 3 of them are going to get snubbed. So let's start with Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler has gotten everything so far, and he's looking like the most likely out of these people to get in, because his film is just stronger overall, and it would really be shocking if he missed. I mean, I would actually be upset about that. So I think he's number 2 for a director. Number 3, I have Joachim Trier. He's been doing pretty well. And Cinema Value has been pretty strong overall. He always feels like that he's been the most likely international director to get nominated. And I think that we're going to get 2 international directors this year. And I think that he is one of them. The Oscars are aware of him because of The Worst Person in the World. There's a lot of evidence to support that he can get in. And, he didn't get DGA, but, is it surprising that he didn't get a DGA? No, it's not, because if you want to get into DGA, your film needs to be top 3 in Best Picture, like Parasite or Amelia Perez, and Cinema Value just hasn't proven that it's that. But in terms of who the other one could be, I'm looking like at Kleber for The Secret Agent, which is like, well, why are you considering him? It's because Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness, despite not getting any precursors, ended up sneaking in for Triangle of Sadness, and Kleber kind of feels like that. I mean, The Secret Agent, I do think it's getting the Best Picture. It has been doing very well this season. Brazil's on like an all-time high with this movie, and he could surprisingly sink into this category. We've seen like some surprises in here, and if you're trying to predict 2 international directors, he is one of those people. But at number 5, I do have Jafar Panahi. I'm a little concerned about him, to be honest, because he's got the Golden Globe, he's got the Critics' Choice, but he missed the BAFTA long list, and he was like supposed to get into that. But it was just an accident, didn't win a single Golden Globe. That's kind of a red flag for that film, okay? And Panahi has been out there, and he does have like a lot of critics' circles wins, but it kind of feels like this film is like kind of slipping a little bit. So like I still am gonna predict him, because I still think he's strong enough to get into this category. But I'm a little concerned. I'm just like, oh, are you going to snub Panahi? Are you going to do it? I mean, I just don't really know. This is very tough to predict. So if you think 2 international directors are getting in, and you go with these 2, who's going to get this final spot? It's between Chloe Zhao, Guillermo del Toro, and Josh Safdie. Now, Guillermo del Toro, I thought was going to get in, because Frankenstein has just been overperforming everywhere. But he did not get the BAFTA long list, and he was kind of supposed to get in, and that's a little bit of a red flag right there. And it's possible that maybe he just misses director, it's very, very tough. Because you also have Josh Safdie, who, although they didn't get the Golden Globe, Marty Supreme's been getting a lot of attention. It really has. And he would make sense for a director nomination. He really would. There's so much competition in this category this year that I just cannot squeeze either of them in. And I'm going with Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. They have been nominating women in this category. Hamnet is number 3 for Best Picture. It is very strong. And Hamnet also won the Golden Globe drama. So she did give a speech out there and did get herself out there. So I have her in. This 5 I've been with the entire year anyways. But I just don't know if it's going to end up coming to fruition. This is a very tough category, and I may just like change some stuff on a word expert at the last second. But at the moment, this is like what I'm vibing with right now. But you definitely watch out for Guillermo del Toro, Josh Safdie, or Kleber, because I could easily see one of those, if not 2 of those men, get nominated. You also have Yorgos Lanthimos for Begonia. He got the BAFTA long list, but he's not going to get nominated. It's just not going to happen. Moving on to Best Actor, Chalamet is the frontrunner. He is going to win. I mean, he's going to win this category. He's got the Critics' Choice. He's got the Golden Globe. He's going to win. DiCaprio, I think he's number 2. He's pretty solid overall. Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, I think he's going to get in. He's gotten everything so far. He's been pretty strong, and yeah, he's the only contender for Blue Moon, but he is Ethan Hawke, and he's been getting everything so far, so why would you bet against that? Wagner Moura, though he missed the BAFTA long list, which was shocking, and he missed SAG, which was less shocking, he's number 4, because he won the Golden Globe this past weekend, and Secret Agent is doing very well, and I just think he's going to get in. Then we get to the number 5 spot, which is between Michael B. Jordan, Jesse Plemons, and then Joel Edgerton. Now you're thinking, why is Michael B. Jordan at number 5? He's been getting nominated everywhere. Sinners has been doing so well. Why are you putting him at 5? He should be at 3. This is why I'm doing this, folks, because he's playing a dual lead performance. Okay? This has not very happened much of the Oscars. Like, one of the few examples is like Nicolas Cage for Adaptation, that he got nominated for. But it does not very happen that much, folks. Okay? And plus, you kind of have to think about 2 or 3 years ago with Barbie. Like, Margot Robbie got in everywhere for Barbie, and yet she did not get nominated at the end of the day. And while I can't take Michael B. Jordan out because he's been doing so well this season, I'm just saying, he could get snubbed. I really do think he can get snubbed. It is possible, because you have Jesse Plemons at number 6. He has the SAG nomination. Like, you can't ignore that. Like, people were not thinking that he was going to get the SAG. People were thinking that Jesse Plemons was going to be dead for Begonia because he missed the Critics' Choice, and then he shows up at SAG. Guess what? He also is in the BAFTA long list. And Begonia, so strong for Best Picture, maybe Jesse Plemons leapfrogs someone. And I think that it could be Michael B. Jordan. It also could be Ethan Hawke. Maybe he doesn't get in, but I really don't think Ethan Hawke's getting snubbed, which is why I have Michael B. Jordan at 5. Okay? Maybe I should put Ethan Hawke at 5, but I'm going Michael B. Jordan at number 5. But I am very much looking out for Jesse Plemons. I do think he can sneak into this category. Joel Edgerton has the Critics' Choice, but he didn't get the SAG nomination, so that just tells me no for him. Everyone else in this category, I just don't think is going to happen, but they have gotten some precursor nominations, so that's why I have them here. But I don't expect to see them. I would like to see Jeremy Allen White get in for Springsteen, but that movie is just like dead in the water. No one seems to like it that much, and I just can't predict them. But this is what I'm going with my top 5. You can yell at me at the comments if you think I'm wrong about Michael B. Jordan getting snubbed. I would like to see what your thoughts are on that, because that's my hot take for this category. Moving on to Best Actress, Jessie Buckley. She's going to sweep everywhere. She's got the Golden Globes. She got the Critics' Choice. Not much to say there. Renate Reinsve, I have number 2. She missed SAG, but yet she's going to get nominated. There's no way that she would miss for this. Rose Byrne has gotten everything so far. She's getting nominated. Emma Stone, Begonia's been doing strong. She's been doing very well. And yeah, she's going to get nominated. Why would you bet against that? So that's top 4. You should not bet against this top 4. Now, this 5th spot, Chase Infinity, is the most likely. She's gotten everything so far. She's been doing better than I thought she would. And plus she's on the BAFTA long list. This 5 is like pretty obvious, in my opinion, but I do want to still entertain Amanda Seyfried, because although Testament Van Lee has just been doing so shitty this Oscar season, she has a lot of critics' awards, and she does have the Golden Globe, and she has the Critics' Choice. Now, who does this remind you of? This reminds me of Kristen Stewart for Spencer, who got snubbed at SAG, which was a surprise, and she missed the BAFTA long list. It's the same fucking thing, okay, with Amanda Seyfried. Now, I feel like this movie is a little bit weaker overall, but it is also a weirdo movie, just like Spencer, that has gotten mixed responses from people, and it is a little bit weird, but yet Kristen Stewart still got the Oscar nomination. And so I am hoping that Amanda Seyfried can pull through and get into this category, because this movie has been treated so unfairly. Searchlight has botched this campaign for this movie, and I'm hoping that Seyfried can get in, but it is very much an uphill climb for her. Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue, has a Golden Globe and SAG, and she made the BAFTA long list, but I don't expect her to get nominated. That would be like an Annette Bening sort of nomination. But she is there. I wouldn't ignore her. It is possible to get in. I just don't think people care about this movie enough. Cynthia Erivo, she's not getting nominated. Jennifer Lawrence, Die My Love, there's too much competition for her to get in. And then Eva Victor, Sorry Baby, I'm kind of looking to see if like Sorry Baby could get like a surprise nomination somewhere, like maybe screenplay. But I don't expect Eva Victor to get in. But it'd be kind of interesting to see if this film ends up doing anything. Moving on to supporting actor, this is going to be very easy. Stellan Skarsgård, I still have as the frontrunner. He did miss SAG, but he won the Golden Globe, and I think he has a good chance of winning BAFTA. I'm not really sure who's going to end up winning this category, but I still think he's the frontrunner. Jacob Elordi, I now have number 2, okay? He's got the Critics' Choice nomination, and he's just been doing so effing well this season, and you kind of have to wonder if like maybe he could win the Oscar. Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro, they're 3 and 4. I think they've just been canceling each other out, and that's why I don't think either of them are gonna win. But they're still getting nominated. And Paul Mescal, Hamnet, he's gotten everything. Okay, that's really it. Miles Kane, he's got the SAG nomination. Adam Sandler has Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, but they're not gonna get nominated. I just don't think they're gonna get in. Delroy Lindo and Andrew Scott, I mean, it would be really surprising if it wasn't this top 5, honestly. I just think this top 5 is like very obvious, and you should be predicting this top 5. Moving on to supporting actress, this category is not so simple as supporting actor. Amy Madigan, Teyana Taylor, they're duking it out for the win. Amy Madigan has Critics' Choice, and Teyana Taylor has the Golden Globe. People are switching Teyana Taylor to win because of the Golden Globe win, and the fact that One Battle could end up getting an acting win. I'm still sticking with Madigan because I think she could win everything else. Regardless, they're both getting nominated. Now, this is where things get interesting, because Inga, Epstein-Elias, and Elle Fanning look like they were going to get double nominated here, and then SAG comes along and they snubbed both of them, which was shocking. Who got in over them? It was Wumi Masaku, Ariana Grande, and then Odessa Zion, who got in over both of them. Now, I still am keeping Inga, Epstein-Elias at number 3. Okay, and here's why. Because they have been going more for international actors overall, and plus, she always kind of seemed like a stronger contender compared to Elle Fanning anyways, and it would just be really weird if Sentimental Value did all these nominations and yet it doesn't get a supporting actress nomination. I mean, I really do think that she's going to get in at the end of the day. And Elle Fanning, I think that she just may be Jamie Dornan for Belfast, and that she gets Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, but then she doesn't get SAG and BAFTA. I mean, she didn't even make the BAFTA long list, and as a result, doesn't get nominated. It's a shame because I think Elle Fanning is great in Sentimental Value, and I would love to see her get nominated, but I just can't squeeze her in here. Wumi Masaku I have number 4 because she got the SAG nomination. People were doubting that she would get SAG, and she showed up at SAG at the end of the day. With Sinners doing as well as it is, there's definitely a case for her to get in. I think she definitely is strong enough, and she also got the BAFTA long list as well. So this cat is being a crybaby and interrupting my video, so now she's gonna sit on my lap. So I think she's strong. I think Wumi Masaku is strong, and I have her at number 4. Now this 5th spot is very hard to determine, because Grande, she has been getting everything, but Wicked has been going downhill, and it's possible that she could just end up missing at the end of the day. And Odessa Zion, she has SAG, which is significant, and she also got into the BAFTA long list. And Mari Supreme doing so well right now that I could see Odessa Zion easily getting into here. So, and even Elle Fanning could maybe have a shot. So this fifth spot is very hard to determine. I am leaning a little bit more towards Grande though, because maybe she just does get in at the end of the day. I don't know what else to say. I think that it's a great performance. I would love to see Grande get into this category, and I hope she does get in. So I'm just gonna stick with Grande. My guts lean a little more towards Grande, but I could definitely see a Zion get nominated. This race is pretty tricky as well, because I really only feel confident about the top three. In these last two slots, I'm just not 100% certain on them. Who knows? Maybe even Gwyneth Paltrow could like leapfrog a Zion and end up getting in. That would be pretty nuts if she managed to do that. On the Smash Machine, she only got the Golden Globe. I think that she needed to be SAG to be considered a serious contender in this category, and she didn't get nominated. So I don't think Emily Blunt's getting in. And then everyone else in this I have is just not contending. So I'm gonna go with this 5. I'm gonna stick with this top 5, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Moving on to original screenplay. I think you got a top 4 here, and then you have a fifth spot that's like a little bit of a mystery. So Sinners is gonna win the category. Cinema Value, Mari Supreme, those two are locks. It was just an accident. Although it's been kind of slipping a little bit, I still expect that it's gonna get into screenplay. It did get into the BAFTA long list, so I still think that's getting in. And then this fifth spot is between, I believe, 3 films, and that's Secret Agent, Weapons, and Sorry Baby. So let's break it down for both of them. Sorry Baby has the Critics' Choice, and it also got a shout out at the Golden Globes. Eva Victor also got the Golden Globe nomination, and some people are putting this in because they think it could be like a surprise nomination, kind of like Worst Person in the World getting a surprise screenplay nomination. So that was possible. Weapons got the PGA recently, and has the Critics' Choice. It's also on the BAFTA long list, and that's also a possibility. But I'm gonna go with The Secret Agent, and here's why. The Secret Agent is been doing very well this season. I think the Oscars are going to like The Secret Agent, and my gut is telling me that The Secret Agent is gonna get like a major nomination somewhere, like either in screenplay or director. And I'm just gonna say that it's gonna get into screenplay. I really do think The Secret Agent can sneak up in this category, because you kind of have to think, if I'm Still Here from last year was probably close to getting a screenplay nomination because it got in the Best Picture, and The Secret Agent has shown more strength than I'm Still Here. So I'm going with The Secret Agent. I feel the most confident about this one, even though it hasn't really gotten any major nominations, and it also is on the BAFTA long list. But it really is a pick of poison between these 3. I think either of these 3 films could get nominated, but my gut is telling me to go with The Secret Agent, and I'm going to stick with The Secret Agent here. Moving on to Best Adapted Screenplay, One Battle After Another's win the category. Hamlet's a lock. Begonia, it's a lock, folks. It's getting nominated. Train Dreams has been doing very well here, and if it gets into Best Picture, it is obviously against screenplay. And I do think that it will probably get screenplay anyways, even if it still misses Best Picture. Frankenstein, although I still feel like it's not a screenplay movie, it's just kind of hard to deny at this point. I mean, you kind of have to go with Frankenstein just because of how strong that film's been overall. So I think you have a pretty secure top 5 in screenplay and adapted screenplay here. Some other contenders, No Other Choice was hyped up to be like a contender. It has the Critics' Choice, but it missed the BAFTA long list. So I don't expect that it's going to get nominated at the end of the day, unfortunately. This has been kind of slipping a little bit. Wake Up Dead Man, you know, the other 2 Knives Out films have gotten in, but this one just doesn't seem to be as big of an awards player as compared to the other 2. So I don't think it's going to end up getting in. Wicked for Good's not getting nominated, and I'd be surprised if anything else happens in this category. Best Casting. This is a new category this year, so it's kind of hard to determine what they're ultimately going to do. My strategy for this category is just to go with Best Picture nominated films. I think that's the best way to go about this, and the safest way to go about it. So Sinners and One Battle, I have at number 1 and 2. They're probably duking it out for the win. I don't know what's going to win in this category. Mari Supreme seems really good, bet as well, and Sentimental Value, and then Hamlet. Now, the reason why I'm going with these top 5 is because all of these films are getting acting nominations. I'm anticipating that they're going to nominate films that get into the acting categories at the Oscars. That's what my anticipation is. But there are some other contenders out here that I think could get in, like The Secret Agent. I mean, Wagner Moura is getting into Best Actor, and if the Oscars really want to go out for a Secret Agent, they could nominate it here. They also could nominate Weapons here. Amy Madigan is still a possibility to win, and this would really support her win if Weapons can get in here. Frankenstein just been overperforming everywhere. Jacob Elordi has been very strong. I wouldn't be surprised if Frankenstein got in this category. I really wouldn't. Wicked for Good, probably not going to happen. But if Grande does get supporting actress, maybe it could show up here. I don't anticipate that's going to happen though. And then Sarap. Sarap, although it got in here, it has very good casting. Probably going to get the BAFTA casting nomination. I just don't anticipate the Oscars are going to go for it. I do think that Sarap could get a nomination somewhere else outside of international feature. And I do have it in a category outside, in which we'll go into that. Now, for Best Cinematography, I'm going to go with the ASC 5. And they nominated Sinners, One Battle, Frankenstein, Train Dreams, and Marty Supreme. I feel that this is the best bet to go with. Train Dreams won the Critics' Choice. Could be a contender to win. Right now I have Sinners at number 1. Now, you may be wondering, why do I not have Hamnet? This is Luc Gazal. He's been nominated in the category before. Well, Hamnet missed the ASC, and it also missed the British Society of Cinematographers. So precursor that people don't really talk about a lot, but it missed that for Die My Love, which was very surprising. Marty Supreme also got into British Society of Cinematographers, and even though they didn't get the Critics' Choice, it showing up in those other two areas makes it stronger than Hamnet, in my opinion. So I'm going with Marty Supreme over Hamnet. I think Hamnet has a chance to get in because it is a very beautiful looking film. But, you know, I can't ignore the ASC. The ASC is one of the most accurate guilds out there. They often go 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. And you kind of have to go with the top 5 a lot of the time. It's like the safest bet to go with. The contenders F1 got into Critics' Choice. If it really overperforms, maybe it can sneak up in here. I'm not expecting that to happen. Die My Love got the British Society of Cinematographers. Again, don't think that's going to happen. And then everything else in this category is just here, but I don't anticipate that's going to happen. Moving on to Best Film Editing, this category is a little bit trickier to predict this year because we aren't going to get the BAFTA nominations, and we're not going to get the ACE nominations out. The pretty much referred as the Eddies. But let's go over what I think is the most likely. So One Battle and Sinners are probably duking it out for the win. Not sure what's going to win in this category. Marty Supreme is a ping pong movie. It has very fast paced editing and everything. Very intense movie that is meticulously designed. I would be surprised if this missed. It just seems like the sort of editing film that they would go for. F1 won the Critics' Choice. I mean, that's really the only reason why I have it here. But it's not a Best Picture film. And normally they go for Best Picture nominated films here. But sometimes they will go for stuff that's not in Best Picture, like Tick Tick Boom or I, Tonya. Corey Ferrari did get into Best Film Editing as well. So I'm going to go with F1. I don't feel 100% secure about it, but I am going to go for it. And then this fifth spot is tricky because, you know, for the longest time I was thinking that it was going to be Hamnet. But Hamnet, it just doesn't feel like the sort of editing film that we get in. It's the same reason why I'm not going with sentimental value. So I'm actually going with Frankenstein because that movie has just been overperforming everywhere. And it does seem like the sort of movie that could sneak into editing just based on its overperformance overall. It's also on the BAFTA long list. Some other contenders, No Other Choice was deemed as an editing contender. I heard it actually had some really good editing, but I don't anticipate that's going to get in. Begonia doesn't look like it's going to get in. However, Yorgos Lanthimos films have snuck into this category before. Like, I remember people weren't predicting The Favorite to get in, and yet it got nominated. So that could be like a surprise, but I don't anticipate that's going to happen. House of Dynamite, it got the Critics' Choice, but this film is not contending in any other categories, and getting a lone editing nomination would just be very unusual. So I would not predict that. The Secret Agent, Wicked for Good, probably not gonna happen, but you know, they're there anyways. This category could really throw people up for a loop, but I'm gonna go with this top 5 and I feel pretty good about it overall. Best production design, Frankenstein's gonna win the category. Sinners and Hamnet, those are 2 very good bets that I would put in. Marty Supreme has been doing very well production design. I mean, it's got like the art director's guild, it's got the set decorators guild, it has the critics choice, and it's in the BAFTA long list. It's been doing very well in production design, so I'm gonna keep that in. And then Wicked for Good, I'm keeping it at number 5 because it's the safest bet, but I don't feel 100% secure about it because, again, if it is Black Panther Forever, it could get snubbed because Black Panther Forever did not get nominated for production design. And if you're looking for places in which Wicked could end up missing a nomination, this could be one of the places where it goes. However, I don't think that anything else is strong enough to get in over Wicked. Because you have Avatar, Fire, and Ash, and that doesn't seem like it's doing the best. However, they do like nominating sci-fi films, and they could go for it in this category. Kind of like how Tenet like snuck into production design and then it won visual effects. That could maybe be Avatar, Fire, and Ash. Fantastic Four got the critics' choice, but I really don't think they're gonna go for it. Yes, it had all the precursor nominations, but I really would be surprised if they went for that. And plus it's not in the visual effects shortlist, so I don't really anticipate that's gonna happen. And everything else is just kind of in this list, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't think One Battle After Another is gonna get in this category. It doesn't like seem like the sort of film that would sneak in. Going on to the best costume design, now you have a clear top 4 I wouldn't bet against. So Frankenstein is gonna probably win the category. Wicked for Good, Sinners, Hamnet. You should not bet against any of those. Now this 5th spot is very much a mystery because we aren't getting the BAFTAs long list, and yes, we have the Critics' Choice and we have the Costume Designers Guild, but they kind of like all nominated all these. So what's gonna get this 5th spot? Let's go over each of them. So Hedda seems like the one that most people are going with. It's like the consensus pick, but it really is only contending in this category, and it hasn't made a splash anywhere else. Ann Lee, people were putting in the top 5, but then Ann Lee just like dropped dead on the floor. I would not predict Ann Lee, especially since the Oscars shortlist like fucking snubbed it everywhere. I would not put that in. The Secret Agent is a possibility. I mean, if they want to nominate the Secret Agent somewhere else, they could do it here. And then you also got Marty Supreme and then Kiss the Spy Woman. Marty Supreme has just not been showing up in costumes overall, so I just don't feel good about that. And Kiss the Spy Woman does have a Critics' Choice, but again, like Hedda, it doesn't seem like that the Oscars are going to nominate something just for its costumes. However, they have done that before. Now, I have One Battle After Another number 5, and why do I have this at number 5? Like, this is a contemporary film. They don't really go for contemporary stuff. And I'm going with it because it's Colleen Atwood. She's been nominated in this category before. And I think that this movie has like some recognizable costumes, like DiCaprio in the robe, like basically the entire film. And then Jason Finity in the skirt. And then Sean Penn in his I'm a big muscle man costume. And Benicio del Toro in his judicial suit. I just feel like that the costumes of One Battle, although they're contemporary looking, are just like recognizable for people, and I think that they may end up going with that because like I think of all the other nominations here and I'm just like, what's recognizable about the costumes in any of these films? I don't even really know, and maybe it's because I haven't seen any of these movies outside of Marty Supreme, but I just don't really feel confident about any of these other films, and maybe Hedda just gets in at the end of the day. But I'm going with One Battle After Another here. I feel the most confident about it. I feel like it could sneak in just based off of Colleen Atwood's name alone being on the ballot box. But this 5th spot very much is up in the air. It could be any of these films, but I'm sticking with One Battle After Another. Moving on to Best Makeup, Frankenstein's going to win in this category. Sinners is going to get nominated. It just has been doing very well overall with makeup. Wicked for Good is going to get in because of what they did with the Scarecrow and the Tin Man. They created each of those looks, and it's very impressive work. One Battle After Another. Although it doesn't have a lot of makeup, Sean Penn's look at the end of the film is what's going to get it in. Plus, this got 3 nominations at the Makeup Guild. So I feel really good about one battle, and I would not predict against that. And then at number 5, I have the Smash Machine. Now, the reason why I have this at number 5 is because this film missed the special makeup designers guild nomination at the Makeup Guild. It's like basically the most important guild, and somehow the Smash Machine missed it. I don't know how it missed it because it's been doing well in makeup everywhere else, and it only got like one mention at the Makeup Guild. It is very strange that it missed that nomination, and it's a little bit of a red flag because you kind of have to wonder what else could get in over it. Plus, it kind of seems like it's going downhill anyways. But what else could get in? And the problem is that I don't really see anything that could obviously get in over the Smash Machine. I mean, you got Kokoro, got the Ugly Stepsister, Mighty Supreme could maybe sneak up here. It is in the short list. And then Nuremberg and Out the Ninth, I just don't think that either of those are going to happen. So I think the safest bet is just to stick with the Smash Machine in the top 5, but it is a little bit of a red flag that it missed that special makeup nomination at the Guild. So could it get snubbed? Maybe. But I just don't have a reason to bet against it. And if you're trying to play it safe in this category, you kind of have to stick with this top 5 a lot of the time. So this is what I'm going to go with. Best visual effects. This one's a fun one. This one's interesting. So Avatar is going to win this category, and F1 has gotten nominated everywhere. Those two are going to get nominated. Now, this is where it gets interesting because the Visual Effects Society came out a couple days ago, and in their main category, they did not nominate Superman, Sinners, or Frankenstein. Instead, they nominated The Lost Bus. Like, The Lost Bus got like 4 mentions at the VFX Society. It came out of nowhere, and although it missed the Critics' Choice, it is also on the BAFTA long list. So there's a lot of people who are starting to put in The Lost Bus, thinking that it's gonna sneak into the Oscars. But let's break down what else is getting in. So Superman, although it missed the main category, did get 4 mentions at the Visual Effects Society. I think that's still a safe bet to go with. I have that at number 3. And then I have Sinners and Frankenstein at number 4 and 5. Now, Sinners got 1 mention at the VFX Society. It got the supporting effects, but it didn't make the BAFTA long list. But it does have the Critics' Choice. Frankenstein got completely shut out of the VFX Society, which is a big red flag for it. But it's on the BAFTA long list, and it does have Critics' Choice. It has been overperforming everywhere, and I think it could still get in here. And then The Lost Bus is on the BAFTA long list and did very well at the VFX Society. Okay. Another one here to talk about is like Wicked for Good. Now, Wicked for Good is a visual effects contender here because they like nominating like CGI animals a lot. They nominated like 4 films that had like monkeys in it last year, okay? And that could still get in. However, if you're looking for a place in which Wicked for Good could just end up getting snubbed, I do think it is visual effects. Wicked for Good did not get the Critics' Choice nomination, which is surprising considering that they nominated that in their Best Picture films. So it is a little strange that they did not nominate that, even though it has been doing very well. So I'm kind of playing a little bit, I don't know if it's, you could say safe here, but I'm going with Sinners and Frankenstein because I feel like one of these films are going to get nominated at the Oscars. And if you're trying to go for like at least 4 out of 5, I think that putting Sinners and Frankenstein seems like a safer bet because I still think one of these films is going to get in. Or maybe they both get snubbed and they go with Lost Bus and Wicked for Good. So this one's a pretty tricky category to predict this year, and without the BAFTAs, it makes it even tougher because we only have the long list to look out for. So there's a lot of things that are here and a lot of things that are not there. But again, I probably will end up switching this on a word expert at the end of the day. But I'm gonna go with this top 5 for now. But I just don't feel confident that Lost Bus is actually going to get nominated. Like, you know, I know the visual effects nominated that, but, you know, we've seen these kind of like photorealistic films get into the short list. People think it's going to get nominated, like 13 Lives or some shit, and then they don't end up getting nominated at the end of the day. So I just don't believe in the Lost Bus. I really don't. So that's why I'm going with Sinners and Frankenstein. And Wicked for Good, I feel like it's gonna miss a nomination somewhere. And I'm just gonna say it's visual effects because this category is pretty stacked overall. You also got Tron Ares, which got mentioned, but it didn't get the main category, so I don't think that's gonna happen. Jurassic World did get the main mention, but they haven't nominated any of the other Jurassic World films, so I wouldn't go for that. And then Electric State is just happy to be here, honestly. So that's what I'm going with the visual effects. This is a pretty tricky category, and I may change something at the last second on a word expert. Moving on to the best sound, Sinners and F1, I think are duking it out for the win. F1 may end up winning the category after all. It has the Critics' Choice win and may even win some sound nominations, but I'm just going to stick with Sinners for number one for now. One battle after another, although it's been missing some Guild nominations, has the Critics' Choice, and it's not a bad for longest. It's been doing pretty well overall. I do still expect it to get nominated. And then number four, I have Frankenstein. Frankenstein's been doing good in sound. It's on the best longest, has Critics' Choice nomination. I feel pretty good about that top four. I think that you should go with that top four. Now, it's the fifth spot that I think is tricky because I think it could be between like four films. Starting with like Surat. Surat ended up getting a surprise Critics' Choice nomination. And it also got a mention at one of the sound guilds. Avatar Fire and Ash has surprisingly not been doing very well in the sound. It missed the Critics' Choice, and yes, it's on the Baffling Long list, but it missed like the sound guild nominations. And we don't have Cinema Eye before this video is being uploaded, but if Avatar is not in Cinema Eye, then I don't think I'm gonna predict Avatar. Wicked for Good just doesn't seem like it's gonna end up getting the sound at the end of the day, considering that it's just weaker overall. However, they do like their musicals. And then Mission Impossible has been getting some sound nomination guilds. It is also on the BAFTA long list. And they did nominate the last Mission Impossible film in sound, so could they do another one? I don't really know, to be honest. And then you got Springsteen and Superman, but those don't feel like they're happening overall. So this fifth spot is very much up in the air. I think you could just like draw a straw and then just see which one ends up coming up. But I'm going with Surat because the Oscars nominated this film in a lot of categories in the shortlist, which means that there's some love for this film outside of international feature. And yeah, just because you get a bunch of mentions doesn't mean you're gonna get nominated for those. But I feel like Surat's gonna show up somewhere outside of international feature, and maybe it could end up being this category. Who knows? This is one where I may end up changing something at the last second as well with this fifth spot. But for now, I'm going to go with Surat. I feel the best about this, and some people are starting to lean a little bit more towards Surat, thinking it's going to get a surprise nomination. And, you know, maybe it does. Who knows? But this is what I'm going to go with. Alright, Best Original Score. Sinners is out front here. It has the Critics' Choice. It's got the Golden Globe. It's doing very well here. One Battle After Another is here. It's going to get nominated. Frankenstein, Hamnet. Those are your top four. I would not bet against that. This fifth spot, Marty Supreme missed the Golden Globe nomination. But it does have the Critics' Choice, and it's also on the Baffling Long list. Plus, this film's score is not as technically as I thought it was going to be. It's a little bit more traditional, just like very intensive music overall. Very energetic score. And yeah, it could still get snubbed, but I do feel pretty good about it. I do think it could still get in. But F1 is the one to look out for, okay? This has the Golden Globe and it has the Critics' Choice. It's Hans Zimmer. He's a recognizable name in the music branch, and I remember doubting Indiana Jones for a while, the Dial of Destiny and some shit, and they nominated that, which was like, why? Why go with that? And so I'm a little worried that F1 could leapfrog Marty Supreme in this category. I really don't want it to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But Marty Supreme, with it being out in theaters and more people have seen it, I'm hoping that it could maybe sneak in here over F1. You also got Surat in this category as well. That got the Golden Globe nomination. That one's possible. But I feel like people are knowing that film more for the sound design as opposed to the score. So That's why I have it in sound instead of score. But Begonia could maybe still get in here. I would like to see Begonia get in. I thought it was a really good score. Train Dreams, Wicked for Good. I don't know. Those don't so feel like they're gonna happen at the end of the day, but maybe Train Dreams could sneak up in here. And I know Wicked showed up in score last year, but I don't expect the sequel's gonna show up in this category. And Jay Kelly is just like completely dead in the score. Like we really thought that like Jay Kelly was gonna get in the score, and it's just no, it's like completely dead. So none of these other films are really contending for this category. Moving on to the best original song, I think you got a pretty clear top 5 here, but the Oscars have surprised in this category before. Golden's gonna win the category. I Lied to You is getting nominated. Jeremy, Diane Warren, I mean, there's nothing else to say. Diane Warren always gets nominated in this category, and yeah, she hasn't shown up in any precursors, but that doesn't matter. She's Diane Warren, and she will get nominated. The Girl in the Bubble has been doing very well. It's got the Golden Globe, it has the Critics' Choice. Train Dreams also has the Golden Globe, and it has the Critics' Choice. And if it's getting the Best Picture, I do think that it could sneak into song or score. And song is the one that's more likely here. So that's a pretty clear top 5 for me. But there are some other contenders that I do want to entertain. So No Place Like Home, Wicked for Good. The Golden Globes actually nominated this song, which was interesting. But it doesn't feel like it's a stronger Wicked song. And I don't anticipate they're going to go for 2 Wicked for Good songs here. So I don't think that's going to get in, although I do have it in number 6. Number 7, Last Time I Seen the Sun for Sinners. Some people are thinking that Sinners could get a second song nomination, and I just don't really see any evidence to support this notion that it can get in. So I'm not going to put 2 Sinner songs in. I just don't think that's going to happen. Dream is 1, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Got the Golden Globe nomination. I still don't feel like it's going to happen, although it is Miley Cyrus, but I just don't feel like that's going to happen. Drive from F1 actually could sneak up in here. It could be a surprise nomination here. But I'm not going to go for it. And then everything else in this category, it's just very unlikely that any of these other contenders could get nominated. So feel pretty secure about this top 5, but you know, we've seen surprises in this category before. So, you know, what could be the surprise? Or maybe it's just this top 5. So this is why I'm going to go with my top 5. Best Animated Feature, K-Pop Demon Hunters is winning the category. Zootopia 2 is getting nominated. Arco, Little Omni, and Elio. That's your top 5. All of those films have been getting nominated everywhere. You should not bet against this top 5. However, I do want to mention that like Demon Slayer does have the Golden Globe, it has a PGA, and then it has an Annie. But that film is like way too out there for the Oscars to go for. In Your Dreams has the Critics' Choice as well. But I don't anticipate that either of these 2 films are going to get nominated because the top 5 has everything. They all have the Annie, they have the PGA, they all have the Critics' Choice, they all have the Golden Globe. And all of them are in the Bathroom long list except for K-Pop Demon Hunters because it's ineligible. And that is obviously winning this category. So don't bet against the top 5. If something does end up sneaking in, it will just happen and we just will not anticipate it. But if there is something that could get snubbed, it could be Elio, because the box office was not great for that film. But it's been doing very well, so why would you bet against that? International feature, I'm not sure what's going to win in this category, but I do have The Secret Agent out in front, because this has the Golden Globe and it has the Critics' Choice, and I never expected that this film would end up being as strong as it is, and I do think that it could end up winning after all. Regardless, it's getting nominated. Sentimental Value, it was just an accident. Those are going to get in. Surat, I do feel pretty good about it, and it overperformed on the Oscar shortlist, so it's going to get nominated. No Other Choice, I'm going to keep it number 5, but I am a little concerned about it, okay? Because it did not do well in the Oscar shortlist. It has been going a little bit downhill, and they snubbed Decision to Leave. This is Park Chan-wook, and they could end up doing it again because you got the voice of him Rajab there that got the Golden Globe nomination, and I could see that leapfrogging No Other Choice. I really could. Left-Handed Girl has been a contender. Sound of Falling, but Len has the Critics' Choice. Kokoro, those are all possible. I would not say that either of those would get in. I think that if No Other Choice does get snubbed, it would be for Hin Rajab. Okay. But I'm going with No Other Choice. I'm hoping that he can still get into international feature, but I'm a little concerned about it. Best documentary feature. This category, I tend to want to look at the documentary precursors because you have like the Critics' Choice documentary awards, and then you have like Critics' Circles, but they're just like not really reliable in predicting the nominations here. I also like to look at like what other organizations are doing with predicting their nominations here. So here we go. The Perfect Neighbor is the frontrunner here. I wouldn't bet against that. It has most of the precursor nominations. Perfect Neighbor has the Gotham, has the PGA, Indie Spirit, Doc NYC, and Cinema Eye. It has all of those nominations, so I would not bet against that. 2,000 Meters to Andrivica has the Gotham, Doc NYC, and Cinema Eye. And a lot of people are putting this into their nominations. So I would put that one in. My Undesirable Friends, not in the top 5 in Critics' Choice and on Gold Derby, but why is this on number 3? And it's on number 3 because it won the Gotham Award. And the Gotham winner for documentary has often gone on to get the Oscar nomination. So that's really the reason why I have it on here. And if that streak ends up continuing, it's going to get nominated. And I think Oscar Expert is also predicting this film too. So I'm going to go with that one. Cover Up has the PGA, Doc NYC, and Cinema Eye. It's number 6 on Award Expert. And it's number 4 on Gold Derby. So I have that one at number 4. Number 5, Apocalypse in the Tropica. It's number 5 on Gold Derby. It's number 8 on Award Expert. And it has IDA and Doc NYC. A lot of people seem to be predicting this one, so I'm gonna keep that one in here. Mr. Nobody Against Putin is a possibility. The Alabama Solution is, that one's a possibility as well. Seeds is in there. Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks. I'm gonna stick with this top 5. I feel the best about this top 5, but they could pull some surprises in the documentary category. They've done it before. Moving on to the short categories. Now, the short categories are the hardest to predict. But my strategy for predicting these is to look at like Gold Derby, look at Award Expert, Next Best Picture, Awards Watch, some top users like Oscar Expert and Brother Bro to figure out what their top 5 could be, and just like get a consensus and see like where things are like where short films are lining up the most in order to determine a top 5. So my number 1, I have Snow Bear. This is number 1 on Gold Derby. It's number 6 on Award Expert. It's number 2 on Next Best Picture. And it kind of seems like a cutesy animated short film that could end up getting nominated. Ariel I have at number 2. It's number 2 on Gold Derby and Award Expert. And it's number 1 on Next Best Picture as well. Butterfly is also in a lot of these top 5. This top 3 seems to be at pretty much everywhere in the top 5 for animated short. Number 4, I have The Girl Who Cried Pearls. This is number 4 on Next Best Picture. It's number 6 on Gold Derby, and then it's number 7 on Award Expert. The reason why I have this in is because the Oscar Expert also has this one in. So I feel pretty good about that one. And then Autocar is also been showing up in this top 5. It's number 1 on Award Expert right now. It's number 5 on Gold Derby, and on Next Best Picture, it's actually at number 6. And then you also got Cardboard that's in there as well. Forever Green, Praying God. A lot of the times with the short categories is that it's the safest just to go with the Gold Derby top 5 and pick like at least 4 of those, and then pick like an outside shot. So 4 of these films are on Gold Derby, which are Snow Bear, Urga, Butterfly, and Autocar. Okay? And then I'm just going with The Girl Who Cries Pearls because that's like number 6 on Gold Derby. So Gold Derby is going to be your best friend in the short category. So I'm going to go with this top 4 on animated short. Now for documentary short, the top 4 that I have on my list that's on Gold Derby is All the Empty Rooms, Armed Only with a Camera, The Devil's Busy, and then All the Walls Came Down. So those are 4 are on Gold Derby. And the 5th spot on Gold Derby is Cashing Out. Now, I actually have Children No More, Were, and Are Gone. Well, Children No More, I believe the Oscar Expert and Brother Bro are predicting this on the app right now. This is also like number 7 on the Community and on Gold Derby. I'm kind of going with a wild card for this 5th spot, but it could be cashing out. And then I just think people are predicting like Bad Hostage, We Were the Scenery. Those are definitely possible. This is a category in which the shorts are the category in which I may end up changing some stuff on Award Expert. But I'm going to go with this top 5 for this video. And then finally, live action short. I actually have 3 films that are in my top 5 that are actually on top 5 in the Gold Derby. And those ones are Beyond Silence, Otto, and The Boy with White Skin. My number 1 is Rock, Paper, Scissors. This is number 1 on Next Best Picture. And it's number 6 on Award Expert, but it has been going up. Plus, Oscar Expert and Brother Bro are predicting this. It seems like it has a title in which people are interested. It has a very intriguing title and that people would vote for it. I'm just going off of vibes with that argument, to be honest. So I have that at number 1 because it seems like people are starting to put that at number 1. Two People Exchange Saliva. This is number 2 on Next Best Picture. And it's also rising up on Award Expert and on Gold Derby as well. This seems like something that it could end up getting nominated. Some other outside contenders are Amalia, The Singers, Extremeness, A Friend of Dorothy's, Butcher Strain. Those are also possibilities. I'm just sticking with this top 5 and then we'll see what happens. So those are my final Oscar predictions. You can let me know in the comments if I'm right or if I'm just like way off on my predictions. Try to get a discussion going on and see like what could end up getting nominated for these Oscars. I'm really looking forward to the Oscars later this week. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. Which film do you think is going to get the most nominations at the Oscars?